Okay, movie review time. Demon Slayer already watched. Dune, welcome to Netflix. Beckham, not in the mood. The Chosen, not sure I'm in the mood for this yet. Let's put a pin on it. Once Upon a Crime, I definitely want to watch. Castlevania! Hello, Suits. Not a fan of Bastards, yeah. Alright, The Black Book. Let's do this.
I sinned terribly in my past. God took away my son to punish me.
After his son is framed for a kidnapping, a bereaved deacon takes justice into his own hands and fights a corrupt police gang to absolve him of both his crimes and his sins. With approximately 17 million views since release, top 10 in 69 countries, The Black Book, directed by Edith F. Young, looks like it made quite a mark for itself. So let's see how it stacks up. I'm not going to lie, and I know disdain might be a heavy word, but I wasn't really in the mood to watch the movie when I saw RMD's face. Call it PTSD from the King of Boys series when he was de-aged, quote unquote. Instead of properly casting a young person within that age group for the role, I wasn't in the mood to see his face at all. But hey, I'm glad I gave it a chance. Now, RMD plays Paul Edima, Naija's Liam Neeson.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Although this one came late. Or maybe we could call him an older John Wick from part 1. That's if he substitutes the dog for his son. Because, both of them lost their wives, and both of them are the OGs of the underworld. I mean, John Wick, as many of you know, and for those of you that don't know, is infamously called Baba Yaga. So they are both legends in the other world. We get to see Sam Dede, Bimbo Akintola, and her plenty emotions. That woman has emotions for days. Patrick Doyle, Ireti Doyle, Baba Alex Osifo, and other Nollywood heavy hitters are obviously casted too. You know what's sad about Dami's case is that I can absolutely relate. I used to work in an ad agency too, and I can't count the number of times Naija policemen have stopped me. One of them did get a little physical with me one time, in fact.
Hey, come on, brother, no vex. From here to Boitefa, like this road. No, sit down. Hey, bring up your hand. If you shout, move. If you move just gently like that, if you talk.
Of course, in Dami's case, they were looking for a party, and it definitely fit the bill. I mean, you can call it wrong place at the wrong time, but that doesn't justify the actions nonetheless. I mean, it explains why Naija parents will tell us that we shouldn't look a certain way because, there's a particular stereotype to people that have dreads on. Maybe you have your ears pierced, nose pierced. There's a particular look that the members of SARS and all these other guys, they tend to look out for. Because even me that have been harassed a couple of times in the past, I have a low cut, a regular beard and all of that. But still, it happens. So it was sad that this happened to him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I came for the violence. So I was actually happy that the trigger was pulled. Because while the drama is nice, the trigger being pulled was a catalyst that served to us seeing the events that led to the father doing all he did to redeem his son's image. The very obvious anti-journalist with Kalu, I mean, this thing could have obviously been shot better to pass the point. You did not need to make it so obvious that you're taking a picture of a person and the person did not notice you. I would have loved to see the church's reaction to Paul Edima after his son was, even though it was wrongfully killed, but in the eyes of the world, he was the right person for the kidnapping. I would have loved to see how they reacted to him. Were they cold? They gave him the cold shoulder because he was a man that, right at the time his son was being murdered by the corrupt policemen, he was giving a sermon in the same church, and he's a deacon in the church. So it would have been fun to see that. I think everything till that scene with the journalist in his house when he decided to take action was good. However, the climax could have been much better. It was somewhat expected for me, but it was a nice reveal nonetheless that the younger Paul killed Victoria's mom. Special shout outs to the late and great Pat Nebo for the set design. Remember the police station jail cell? He built all of that from scratch, and it was really, really real and dope. And special shout out to him. May his soul rest in peace. Now, I mentioned some pros for the movies. It's time for the cons. While we get it that you are a reformed killer, I think you could have fought more when your son's body was being dragged off like it was nothing. It was a very confusing final sequence with the car chase scene. I did not know who was what. It was more chaotic than entertaining, and I don't want to be that guy also. But what's the story with the hijab gunfighters? Or are we basing it on the stereotype that because there's so much violence in the north because of Boko Haram, their women will also know how to operate submachine guns effectively? Mr. Hair-dyed white slay queen sniper guy, what was his purpose? He had little to no bearing on the movie, in my honest opinion, and it could have been executed better. Of course, it's just my 2 cents because it was introduced so well and hyped up as this Doro mega superstar hitman, but then he got offed like a foul. That seemed off to me, pun intended. How is it that everything was laid bare in Daddy Paul's living room and on the wall and the system for anti-investigative journalists to just start consuming for free? I think that scene could have been executed better. Also, please, what happened to the senator's dumb son that started this whole chain of events that let them end up murdering your son? And did anyone else notice that the scene where it was cut out, that's the initial kidnapping scene that started the movie, it was so drawn out that it looked like it was begging to be cut. Moving on to the VFX. See, lights created by muzzle flashes are important to always note for VFX because it adds to the realism. What was it with that fake-ass sniper dot? I mean, please do better. We deserve better at this point. You have the budget to do better, so do better. And also, we need better fight choreography. See, if you are going to do action, do it right. Hire a stunts coordinator that knows what they are doing and actually coordinates these things for you to add to the realism of the story. Minus the O2 VFX, above all, I appreciate all the subtexts that point at things like illegal mining, SARS, police corruption, etc. that's happening here in Nigeria according to reports. I mean, also on things some people have even personally experienced. Silence truly is the enemy. And like most things action related for Nollywood, we are not Bollywood level yet. We are not even Hollywood dope. But I believe we're on our way. At its heart, the Black Book successfully sells the story with a mostly coherent plot and dope acting. Now, hats off to Editi Efeong and everyone that worked on this project. The Black Book gets a 6/10. If you've enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. It's been Tech for GVNNaija. Live long and prosper.